Stephen Fitzhugh. Welcome to the Rattle.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all being here today.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk with us. Y'all had a great season this year, and it's winded down and on the tail end of 2 weeks of Christmas vacation between school and everything. And so how did the holidays go?
Great. Those are my favorite 2 weeks of the year. There's not a whole lot to do at the school. And so, no competitions to get ready for or anything like that. So I enjoy the Christmas break in between the first and second semester. You get to be with family and again, get stuff done at home that maybe you've been putting off for a while. And, but it's been a good relaxed time.
Okay. Well, let me give you an introduction. So I did some digging. You've been at OCS, the head coach, for 28 years. You were an assistant a few years prior to that. You have a record of 274 and 84, and you have 6 state titles. Also, been married 33 years with 4 children. Any grandchildren?
I have one grandchild that's just a little over a year old.
Yeah. Are they better than the children?
They are. Yeah. That grandparent stuff's good. Take care of them when they start crying. I hand them back to the parents. And so, but we got to keep the grandson for a few days on our own while the parents went out of town, my oldest son and his wife. And so that was a great experience.
Yeah. Everybody I've talked to thus far said the grandparents stage is much better than the parenting.
It is.
So a beautiful family, and most importantly, a child of God.
Yes.
So kind of lead us through, what was it like growing up? What was your childhood like?
Well, I grew up in Dallas, and my parents actually split up before I was born. And my mom remarried when I was 2 years old. And so we, came into a family where I had 2 stepbrothers and a stepsister. And then I had one full brother that's 3 years older than me. And then, my mom and my stepdad had a child together. So I have a younger sister as well. So it was a full house that we went into, and again, growing up in Dallas, we would get out and play ball in the street, front yard, whoever it would be. And my dad ended up passing away when I was 7 years old. Still, I had a relationship. We'd go see him on weekends and stuff, and even after he passed, I would say stayed very, very close to his parents, that I refer to as my granny and pawpaw. And my granny especially is one of the biggest influences in my life, and she continued to be until, she passed, probably it's been close to 20 years now. But, grew up in a home that, we always went to church, 3 times a week, that Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. And my stepdad was one that was a football fanatic like me. I attribute my love to football, to his passion for watching the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
And, that was something I remember, one of my best gifts early on, that he took a white football helmet and painted it the Cowboys star and everything, stripes, and I felt, man, I got a helmet like nobody else.
Yeah.
And but I attribute a lot of my love for football because of the love that he had for and we would watch the Cowboys every time that they were on TV. He ended up quit watching them later in his life because he got so worked up that he's like, I got to get rid of that stress. I get frustrated when they lose, and it would work on him the remainder of the week. But I attribute a lot of the love I have for football to him, and so grew up, and there was a lot of times there was hard situations. I didn't know any different. You make it through and do what you have to do. But at the time, my stepbrothers, who are about 8-10 years older than me, they got into drugs and alcohol, and so that was stressful time in my parents' life, obviously, and definitely affects things around the house, and I would attribute decisions that I made early in life were things that I said, I want to do things differently. Because there were times that after they were out of the house, they would get evicted from their apartment, and my parents would intentionally take me to go, hey, you're coming over to help clean up this mess while they're evicted and in prison and doing time. We're the ones that got to clean up. And so going into a place, some apartments that you walk in and there's nothing but beer cans on the floor, and you open a cabinet to clean and there's cockroaches everywhere. I'm not real fond of cockroaches still to this day, but it makes an impression on you when you're fifth and sixth grade, and so those were things that we worked through, and again didn't you just do what you have to do, but it made an impression on me that I didn't want to have anything to do with that kind of lifestyle, and so again, that was wise of my parents, I think, at that time, to take me to go, your decisions, which way will you go? And so, but again, growing up in Dallas, I was exposed to all kinds of people that my mom would take me to, the old folks home there, as we called it, that you go visit the elderly there, and some that may have been at our church and then had gone, and that was something that she had us do, at a young age, and carried on, that we would go visit people at the Christian Care Center is what it was called. And, go see them. And a lot of times you realize, okay, we're supposed to go cheer them up. Well, you'd be the one that walked away and realized we were the ones that was blessed, that here's someone that may be struggling with health or whatever, and they're laughing and encouraging and things like that. And so, that was, a big part of my growing up. Went to the Dallas public schools, which were very large, all the way through sixth grade. And we were, put on a bus and taken over there. And, we had black, white, Hispanic, everyone in our school, and we all got along great. As something good in an early age, that everybody realized, hey, we're all kids. We all get along and play ball together and have fun together. And so, but it was like I say, growing up in Dallas, pretty much grew up in the neighborhood that you're in. And, you have your friends. I grew up with a couple of guys next door that, whatever sports season it was, we would have a ball and, play basketball or football in the front yard or whatever it may be. And then, when I was in seventh grade, my parents enrolled me into Dallas Christian School, and so the public schools there were just a lot bigger, and the drug situations that my older brothers had gotten into, a lot of that started when they were in junior high and stuff, and so was blessed to be able to go to a Christian school. And I would say, seventh and eighth grade is when I really decided that I want to be a coach one day, because of the impact that the coaches that I had at that school made on me. And they all remained there from my seventh grade through 12th grade year for the most part. And so had a great experience going to Dallas Christian. And
and this is kind of chasing a rabbit, but didn't y'all go over there and play here recently?
We did. We actually played them first game of the season in 2023. We actually met in Shreveport, and we honored Coach Larry Richmond and his wife Cindy before that game, because he was one of the first coaches here at Ouachita Christian back in 78 and 79. He went on, coached 3 years at Riverfield. And then after Riverfield, he went and coached at Dallas Christian for 5 years. And so, you know, he is one that I'd say had one of the biggest impacts on me. He recently passed, you know, here within the last couple of weeks, and we'll have his memorial service a week, you know, here in early January. But I finished high school through my senior year playing football for him, and we had a close-knit team and had a lot of success. And he got the job at Harding University, you know, 2 weeks, you know, after our football season basically ended. And so I was able to graduate high school, and then I went on to Harding University and spent the next 6 years there with him. I redshirted for a year, played ball for 4, and then served as a graduate assistant for a year. And so, again, Coach Richmond is one that he and his wife, Sydney, you know, like another set of parents to me. And so, you know, been a big impact on my life. And then again, other coaches that I had at Dallas Christian, Tony Felker and Robbie Shackelford. Robbie was my track coach. That we didn't have a track. We just had a grass field that we ran around, but we were successful, and he made us love it and enjoy it. And I love coaching track every bit as much as I do football. And
Really?
I do. And so I guess I finished 7 years now as the head track coach here at OCS. And so when springtime rolls around, I enjoy that aspect. And so anyway, I attribute a lot of the love that I have for the game and the sports to the coaches I had, and just their positive influence. And they're men that really shaped me, and to, again, having a love for the Lord. And I had a great youth minister, Buddy Mills. And again, we were involved with our congregation there in Dallas. And so, you know, gave my life to the Lord when I was between my 7th and 8th grade year. We had always gone to different church camps, and again, raised in the church and things. But, you know, I realized, you know, before my 8th grade year, it was something I want to be my decision, that I follow the Lord, and it's my faith and my relationship that I have that walk with him. And it's not, you know, doing whatever my parents tell me, but and that was the only reason. And so, again, blessed with a great surrounding and support system all growing up. And my mom and, you know, stepdad, my granny, I mean, they were ones that, you know, lived the life and made a big impact. And so, you know, blessed with that. And then my older brother, again, he's the one that then, now, he was always there to be ahead of me and fight my battles. And sometimes when I ran my mouth on the playground somewhere, he would have to jump in, and always took care of me. But again, not just in that way, but in other ways too, that he would look out for me and different things. And so, you know, would do whatever. And he's just, you know, one of the most selfless people that you'll ever meet. And so, again, just blessed to grow up, again, with a strong support system like that. And then went on to Harding, and, you know, met my wife there, and we were married. You know, I'm 2 years ahead of her. And so, we were married, as I wrapped up my days of playing football, and still had another year of grad school left, and she was wrapping up. And, you know, she's been, you know, just the best thing that's ever happened to me. And we moved here to Monroe, Louisiana, and, you know, here we've been for 32 years now. And
So what caused the move to Monroe?
well, you know, I always say either you're born here or the Lord sent you here. And I think that's held true. I mean, I think a lot of people would attest to that as well. But you know, having gone to Dallas Christian, yeah, I had some great Bible teachers there. It was the first time that obviously going to school and having Bible class. And so I knew I wanted to teach and coach at a Christian school. And my goal my dream was to be a Bible teacher. You know, that's the subject that if I could choose a class to teach, that's what I wanted to teach. And so it worked out that I wanted to stay at a Christian school somewhere in the South, and the connection of Ouachita Christian. I actually played ball with a couple of guys that they had played high school ball here, and so I had heard of Ouachita Christian, and things worked out that a door opened up, that there was an opening here, and just again feel very blessed that we were able to come here at the time. Again, 5 hours from Dallas, where I grew up, and then my wife, she grew up in southeastern Oklahoma, but her dad's a preacher, and they were living in El Dorado, Arkansas at the time that we moved here. And so that was only an hour and a half away. So
that's not a terrible drive.
No, it wasn't bad at all. And so, again, just Lord opened the doors here, and we've loved it ever since.
So when you originally came to OCS, so what did you coach?
High school football, junior high football, and junior high girls basketball. And there's a special place for those that coach junior basketball in heaven. I mean, but no, I saw one of the moms just last week that her son plays for our high school team, but I coached her in junior high basketball.
Yeah,
and I did that for 3 years, and paid my dues as that was what was needed at the time. But I enjoyed it. I loved basketball, and I brag that I do hold school records at my alma mater in Dallas. Most fouls in a career, most fouls in a season, and quickest to foul out of a game. I mean, but I did play at high school and enjoyed it. But those were the sports that I initially coached coming here, and then I transitioned out of junior high basketball and went into junior high track. And did that for 20 years, at least, maybe a little bit more, maybe 25 years, I guess, until I moved from junior high track to high school track.
Would you consider yourself more of an offensive or defensive coach?
Oh, man. I have done both. And really, it's whatever you get yourself into at the time. In high school and college, I was mainly a defensive football player. But getting into coaching, you learn real quick that you don't know as much as what you think you do, and there's a lot more that goes into it. And so early on at OCS, I initially, within my first 4 years, I think I coached the offensive line, the receivers, the running backs, and just moved around to different spots. And so and then coached D-line and defensive backs as well. And so, I worked with offense. I think 2002 was my first year to coordinate the offense. And after that season, I was like, I think there's people a lot better at it than me. And Stan Humphries came on board that following year. And I learned a whole lot. He's a very good teacher. Because he was fresh off of a Super Bowl playing and stuff like that, but very humble guy and just a very good and patient teacher of the game and instructing. So I learned a lot from him. And when I came into head coaching as well, I was blessed to have Coach Harper and Coach Sonny Vadrine and their 25 plus years of experience to still be on board and guide me and help me. And then when Stan left after about 4 years, I got back into the offensive side and had learned a lot more, again, so much from Stan, and did that for about 10 years and loved it. And then when our defensive coordinator left after the 2017 season, I stepped back in and took a role of coordinating on the defensive side. And Randall Bentley, who's been here for almost 20 years now, he's the genius of it, and working with him, learn so much. And again, we get into things, and I've been on that side of the ball for, again, about 8 years now. But someone asked, what's harder, offense or defensive coordinator? It's definitely harder to coordinate the offense, because you have to have all 11 on the same page. There might be times defensively that somebody's not on the same page, but if they're going full speed, good things can happen. Offensively, if you're going full speed, but you're going the wrong way, it's usually not a good thing. And so, again, I've enjoyed both aspects of it, but I've really enjoyed stepping back over on the defensive side and being a part of that. And then again, Coach Bentley has been the brains of our 3-3 operation that we've been doing for about the last 20 years now. And so I enjoy all aspects. Special teams are fun. So, it's all part of the game.
So you said the coaches were big and instrumental in growing up for you. Was there anybody that or any few people that kind of helped disciple you after you came to faith? Or
I would say that as far as, I think the term discipling is something new that we were using more here recently than what we used back then. But I would say one that really helped and guided me a lot was my youth minister, Buddy Mills, that he was with our congregation probably from about the time I was in 8th grade, 9th grade, I guess, somewhere in that range, all the way through my high school years. And he was one that talked a lot about serving, that if you want to serve the Lord, it's not just you serving the Lord, it's you serving others. That's what Jesus came to do, is he served. And that's one of the biggest ways that we can be a reflection of Christ, is that we serve other people, and that life's not about ourselves. It's about serving others in all aspects of whatever it is that we do. And so, Buddy was one that, he would come and help me go mow a yard, that was an enormous yard that you get a push mower and an acre big. It takes a while, but he was the one that would take time and then again teach us that, hey, we're going to go and work at this camp or work at this VBS, do different things to serve. I would say that again, he was one that was just very influential in that aspect. And then again, the Bible teachers and coaches that I had at Dallas Christian, just with their daily influence and the things that they would teach in Bible class.
Okay. And with the Christian walk, it's not all honey and no bees. There are times where it's very difficult. Are there any times that you might be able to tell us about where it was very trying on your faith and you had to rely on God and to get you through?
I guess one thing that I've always known is God has been there. There were situations growing up that, I get out of my house and go ride my bike by myself or go climb a tree as high as I could just to get away from some things. And I mean, I just feel like God has always, I've always known that God is there. I can't say that there's been a time that I've doubted or struggled, wondering if he's present, because I've always had and known that he is there, that you can hold on to his promises, and that, again, difficult situations or whatever it may be. I mean, I had some health difficulties growing up, 2nd, 3rd grade area, where I had my Meckel's diverticulitis, and doctors would say, well, don't know what's wrong, this, that, whatever. And that went on for months and months and ended up, having surgery. But, again, even in the most difficult times and challenges, and the things that you look at and go, well, this is not a good thing. I can look and go, if it weren't for this, this would have happened. God used this, that in a positive way. I mean, we were able to go to, the Christian school because at the time, kids who lost a parent received a check up until age 18 for the loss of a parent. And so that money was used to help send me to Dallas Christian School. And so, again, even in the difficult times, my granny, my mom, other influence have always assured that, God is there. And so, that I really can't say that there's been a time that I've ever doubted God being there, because even in the difficulties, again, whatever it may be, God has provided ways, in marriage and other things when you're wondering, okay, how's this going to happen? Where are we going to get the money to pay for this or whatever, or how are we going to make it work? It's, we've never been without, in the sense that God has provided a way. And again, I think it's those things that show you and grow your faith that sometimes we sit here and go, okay, why do I doubt? Why do I ever get concerned and worked up? And I think going along with the verse like that, is Ephesians 3:20 and 21, that he can do more than we can imagine. And, I certainly feel like that has happened over and over in my life, that God's done more than I ever could have imagined. And, in so many ways of just, again, the blessing way back when of going to Harding and my high school coach, I get to be around him again for another 6 years. And I mean, at the time when I came to OCS, my initial thought was, hey, I want to be here for 3 or 4 years and go back and coach at my alma mater, Dallas Christian. And did not think that, hey, I'd be head coach here at Ouachita Christian within a 4 or 5 year period. And so, and again, there's been things like that all throughout life where God is, taking care of things, way beyond my imagination.
How do you think your faith has affected your coaching?
I mean, it's who I am. I don't do everything right. But I mean, it's not a separate piece of the puzzle. It's not, okay, I'm going to have faith over here, I'm going to have my football over here. I mean, your faith is your faith. It's who you are on a daily basis and whatever you do. And again, growing up, although I made a choice of my own in 8th grade to become a Christian, when you go off to college, that's when you find out, your parents are going to come knocking on the door saying, hey, time to get up and go to church. Mm-hmm. And so, I would say my faith grew a lot, probably the most initially when I did go off to college, and it was my choice. And opportunities were provided at Harding in ways that I had not been a part of, as far as different ways of community service and different things. Again, going to visit, just opportunities that were provided there at the university, going to visit special needs students that I'd never been exposed to that before, or going into a prison ministry and visiting with people there. And those were things that really, again, helped me grow in my faith and helped me realize that, this person behind bars is the exact same as me. That the only difference is we're separated by bars right now, but they want to walk with the Lord, and that's what I want to try to do. And that, how can we help each other?
Yeah.
And so that's, again, I think those are things that impacted and influenced my faith. And so again, getting into coaching, as far as, there's not a, here's my coaching, here's my faith. It's all, it's all the same piece of the pie. It's not, hey, here are the different slices, and it's who you are.
So you said about the 7th or 8th grade year is when you knew you wanted to be in coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Has there ever been a time when you questioned that decision?
Yeah, ah, I went back a few years ago. I found a tape cassette. And I was like, "Wow, what is this?" And I put it in, and it was an audio tape of a audio journal that I did back during my first year of coaching as a head coach. And after I listened to that, I thought, wow, I'm surprised I stayed in it that next year as rough as it was. But and that was because of the things that I put on myself, the pressure and stress that I put onto myself, but there've been plenty of times that it's like I don't know what else I would could do. I mean, I'm not real gifted in, music or, being able to fix things. My wife, I told her in high school, I sit in computer class. We had a word processor, and I'm looking out the window and I'm seeing all these guys walk last period of the day. They're walking down to the shop, work in shop class where they're fixing things. And I'm on this word processor, and I look at the guy next to me. I'm like, what am I doing? I need to be going doing something useful. This is a keyboard. And the kid looked at me. He said, one of these days, you're going to be able to get on a computer and you're going to be able to go shopping from your own home, and they'll deliver it to your doorstep. I looked at that kid. I said, not in my lifetime, buddy, because I'm going to shop class where I could use something. So that kid's probably making millions these days. And as my wife says, I still don't know how to fix anything. So, but again, I love it. Again, don't know what else I would do. My wife and I, we do work with the youth ministry is something that, again, my youth ministry had a big impact on me. And we have filled a need, a role at our church for the last 25 years working with youth. And so, I enjoy that aspect. Again, it's working with young people. And, it's just something I know how much people impacted me in those formidable years. And I make plenty of mistakes. There's plenty of times I wish I could go back and, hey, didn't mean to yell at you or say this or whatever. And, but I hope that I've done more good than negative, in impacting, kids the way that my coaches and youth minister have impacted me.
What do you think the biggest struggles for young men are right now?
I think without a doubt, for young men, pornography is and lust is probably the number one struggle, number one issue. And that's something that, a few years back, I've been teaching 8th grade Bible. I taught 7th grade Bible for 25 years here, guys and girls, where we studied the Old Testament. When we had a Bible teacher leave for 8th grade, I asked if I could transition into that. And in the 8th grade, Bible classes are separate. It's boys only and girls only. And we will spend an entire 9 weeks discussing living, a godly, pure life and how to deal with the battles, because that was something for me when I was in junior high and high school. That was my number one struggle was, again, the lust. Now, we didn't have computers and phones and everything that kids have today. And I'm glad that we did not have that. The thought would cross you and your neighbor would go, you go into the store, there's a magazine there, but you was always afraid that the one time you got brave enough to do it, your preacher would walk in behind you. So that would, the fear of that would keep you from that. But again, there was that struggle with lust still. And that's one thing that I have learned, is we don't have to battle through these things alone. But for me growing up, I did battle through that alone. My roommate in college, best friend, and we played ball together. He was one of the guys that just spiritual leader on campus there at Harding. About 10 years after my wife and I had been married, he and his wife had been married for 5 years. And again, this is back before cell phones. But he wrote me a letter one day, and just talked about that, that he and his wife were split up, because of him, his lust problem, and getting into some pornography and issues, that they're split up at this time. He planned on going and getting some, help and everything like that. And it broke my heart. And my wife's initial reaction was, how in the world could anyone do that? That's gross. That's how? And so I explained to her, we'd been married for 10 years. I said, well, I'll tell you how. That's why I sit out in the foyer, the main part of the mall. I don't go into the Victoria's Secret stores with you, because I don't want to have that temptation of everything on the wall, because it will ignite something inside that I don't want to be tempted by. And so, all these years you're thinking, well, it's just, embarrassed. Everybody wears bra and panties and underwear and this and that. No, I'm not embarrassed somebody seeing me in there. I don't want to go in there because I don't want to see the pictures on the wall, because that's a temptation area for me. Alcohol was not an area that was tempting to me, because again, I saw that the things that come from that. And so I explained that to my wife, that again, years past, it's like, hey, don't let anybody know where you struggle. And so, it really was an eye-opening experience when my roommate wrote me that letter and just hit me in the face that he was my best friend. But he and I are going to be both so guarded that don't let anybody know what you struggle. Put up the picture that everything's fine. I can do this and that, and I don't have any struggles. And so that really hit hard, that, here he is battling some of the same things I was in college, but we're not going to talk about it. And I think the generation today does a better job of disciple groups that talk and share. But, so the last 8 years, and I've taught it at my church as well to boys only. We will, we don't go through every page, but the book by Stephen Arterbaum, Every Young Man's Battle. He originally wrote Every Man's Battle. That I think is some of the best material on battling against pornography and lust, that it gives great techniques. And so again, that's an issue that, having taught at church camps for over 25, 30 years, the number one thing that comes up year after year after year with young men, is the struggle with lust and pornography. And I've heard it so many times. I've dealt with grown men, who struggle, and their marriages are being challenged. And it all comes back to, it started in junior high. And so, I have a passion for teaching about that, again, knowing that, that's where Satan really tempted me, and knowing that, again, I wasn't going to share anything. I wasn't going to talk about it. And no one really provided an open door for me, when I was that age, of going, hey, if you have a struggle with this, come, let's talk about it. And so, that's one thing that trying to let these kids know, you're not alone in your struggle with this. And you can win this battle one day at a time. And it does not have to control you. And here are some things that you can do to win that battle against lust and the temptation of pornography and things like that. And so, that's a lengthy answer, but I think that is the number one thing that Satan attacks young people with today. And as I tell the kids right now in 8th grade, Satan's trying to get them not right now. He wants to destroy their marriage 10, 15 years down the road. He wants to get them hooked right now and until later on down the way, destroy the family. And so, again, that's something that, I think is the biggest struggle for young people.
So what do you think the hardest part about being a Christian coach in today's culture is?
I've not found anything hard, and I've not seen anything. Again, there's not a separation.
Yeah.
And I think you can look at Christian coaches, of any level. High school, college, professional. Tony Dungy won the Super Bowl, and did not sacrifice his faith in doing that. And again, there's a lot of Christian coaches at the high school level, public school, private school, college level, the professional level, that again, you keep God first, foremost at the center of everything you do and the decisions you make, how you treat people, and be honest in dealings with everyone. It's you're striving to please Him, and you don't get caught up and worried about what other people think. You're not. Then there's a lot of people that, again, in the profession of coaching, there are, again, some higher profile jobs, definitely college or whatever, that, there are times that they do lose their job because of the win-loss record or whatever it may be, but they continue to be who they are and serve the Lord each and every day, wherever they may be.
So every school has its particular struggles that the kids have. But I think uniformly, there's always kids that grow up without a father, and regardless of where you're at. So what does it mean to you to be that father figure for those kids or for those young men that maybe don't have that guy to look to?
That's an important aspect because, again, I know that's what my coaches were to me. Is they were a father figure, and we spent a lot of time together, and I saw, again, their impact, their influence, the way that they treated me and others. Again, it greatly influenced where I am today, and again, it's critically important that myself and our all coaches, that we are that role model. We have that relationship that kids feel like that they can look to us, come to us, and that we're going to discipline them when they need discipline. We're going to love them in spite of things, and that we're going to try to bring out the best in them. I guess that's the thing that I saw again from my coaches, that a lot of times they saw more in me than I saw in myself, and so it's important that we feel that need, that spot, because you'll hear the phrase, a daddy hole, and kids are going to strive to fill that hole with something. Again, God's the only thing that can truly fill it, but at the same time, we can be that one that is here to help some of those day-to-day struggles or challenges or whatever it may be.
Yeah, because again, like I said, I think lacking that father figure, that is something that every school, regardless of whether you're public or private or you're in this socioeconomic region or that I think all of those schools, regardless, they all have those guys. And I've heard a story before. Y'all have a retreat for is it seniors or juniors that
father-son retreat?
Yeah,
we do. So that's something that we'll do each year. We have a team camp, but we also we've been doing a father-son retreat. It was actually, again, a lot of things that done here are not things that I necessarily came up with, or traditions. Adrian Hickman and Ronnie Huckabee started a father-son camp back in the 80s, and I happened to be one particular time around 2010, somewhere in that range. Paul Guerrero at Neville High School. He was at St. Frederick at the time, but he and I were together, and he married a girl who graduated from Ouachita Christian. And so he made the comment. He said, he said, my father-in-law still talks about the father-son retreats that he went on, with his son at OCS back in the 80s and stuff. And so when Paul made that comment, I thought, that's something that I need to start back up again. And it has been really, really good. Just, having a weekend where they can spend time that it's intentional time, and we'll do activities, team building things, strategies, but we'll also have time during that weekend that it's just dad and son going off and sitting together and the dad responds to the son saying, hey, if for some reason I was to leave this world unexpectedly, here's what I want you to know. And the son shares things that he needs from his dad. And so it's something that has been really special, and it's what each couple decides to make of it. But we have time where, again, hey, y'all go off and y'all sit and talk. And there's been times that we've ended the camp and we still don't see this set of father-son or that set of father-son because, and that they'll call me later on that night and go, that was the best 2 hours I've ever had in my life with my son. And, that we don't just stop sometimes to have that intentional time. And so that is something that we do. We'll alternate year to year. Like this past year, we just spent a Saturday morning, grades 9 through 12 of all players, but we alternate year to year. The next year, it will be our 11th and 12th graders and their dads. And we'll go off on an overnight retreat that we will play a Thursday scrimmage, and then we'll go off and spend all of Friday evening and most of Saturday together as well. Again, just spending time together and, playing cornhole and different activities. But it's a special time, special memories.
Yeah. The guy that was telling me about it, he kind of what you said, that the father said that was the best time he'd ever had with his son, and this gentleman told me the same about it, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
that y'all incorporated that into the season. So tell me, what do you do now to grow spiritually? Like, do you have a devotional you look at? Is there a certain place in the Bible you go to read, or are there speakers you listen to, podcasts? What does this look like for you?
Well, I guess been challenged. I don't know, probably close to 10 years ago. My father-in-law, who is our pulpit preacher at Jackson Street Church of Christ here in town, he moved from El Dorado, Arkansas, and they went to the Woodlands, Texas for about 14 years and have been back here for about 5. But he always challenges his congregation to read through the whole Bible during this next year. And so about 10 years ago, I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to jump on board with that challenge. And I have used different ones, whether it's the chronological Bible or the New American Standard or the ESV, or I will change version to version each year, just trying to again get a different wording, I guess.
Yeah.
But I also, I'm one that I've got to read it in the morning, because at the end of the day, I'm done. I mean, I come home and if there's not a ball game or something going on that night, if I sit on the couch, I'm going to fall asleep really quick. It doesn't matter if I'm watching film or trying to read or whatever. And so I'm one that I like to do my reading in the morning before the day starts. I think it's the best way to start the day. And then also, there's been different times I've used different devotional books. The Coach's Outreach is one that had, in this past year, I guess I've gone through in the spring and then this fall, that they provide coaches with a devotional book and on particular studies. This fall, it was on minor prophets and stuff with questions and things. But those are things that I enjoy reading in the morning, and it's again a constant reminder, and just that's my prayer time. In the morning as well. And then I have reminders throughout the day that, hey, stop and pray for this, or stop and be thankful for this. And, but day to day, again, my wife, I'm going to say, is the biggest encouragement, just who she is constantly, her faith. And so being able to be around people that, encourage you and grow your faith, that's the biggest thing that helps me now. That again, seeing the faith of my kids or my other coaches and just different ones, that I go to church with or here at school, and, seeing how, it's the true trust in God, and that again, we are in this together. That's something that, I guess, again, just, I feel like the older that you get, the more you realize the less you know.
Yeah.
And so, but my faith has even grown just in these last couple of years with some different challenges and things that just been reminded that we're not alone in this battle. That whatever anybody's going through, they're not alone. And we base a lot of our themes in football on things like that we'll have a theme of together. That again, we'll take a life theme and apply it to football rather than taking a football theme and applying it to life. That just, again, there's so many verses throughout the Bible that remind us that we're not created to be alone or go through these things alone, that we need each other.
Yeah, I got tickled when you said that you found out you wasn't as smart as you thought you were. I went through a Bible study myself, and it was intensive. It went over like 2 or 3 years, and somebody asked me, like, so what'd you learn? I was like, that I'm the dumbest person in the world. Because it don't matter. I mean, I tell my Sunday school class all the time, you can study the Bible your entire life, and you are just grazed the surface.
That's, yeah. I like that about my mind. I have a simple mind, is what, and I've been told that several times as well. So, I agree with it. So,
well, and there's a few questions I have, and it's more football related. Because I mean, you've had a remarkable career as a head coach. What is one win that stands out to you?
One win on the field, or
on the field. Is there one that's special to you?
They're because I get to thinking about that, a few years back, going, what were some most exciting wins? Of course, anytime you win a state championship, that's fun. And those are great, but a lot of times it's some of the ones where you're not expected to win. And I think two that just jump out to my head were, the 2019 quarterfinal game at Calvary, where we were down by 20 points in the third quarter, and we come back to beat them. And they were undefeated, and they had scored 70 points on Haynesville that year. And, that one, and in the 2010 game against South Plaquemines down there at their place, when they had Bradley Silv, who was one of the top athletes in the nation, and they'd been to the Dome 3 straight years. And we had started that season off with a 2-3 record, and some people were ready to write us off. And, that was a game that we had not been to the Dome in 10 years, but to go down there, and we overcame a lot of adversity during that ball game. Guys, just our tailback, played that game with 102-degree fever, just gritty, tough kids. That again, overcame the odds. I guess those are just a couple of the ones, but there's a lot that I could go back to, but if I had to pick, I don't think I could pick one. Those two are right there together with each other.
What about one that still gets at you that got away?
Yeah.
Can you go in?
Yeah, I try to keep that, because people still don't say that around him.
Yeah.
But definitely the two Southern Lab games, the one in 2018 where they underthrew a Hail Mary with 12 seconds left and scored with their All-American team, that year. And then the 2023 semifinal game where we had a good lead there in the fourth quarter, and they scored 3 touchdowns late to beat us. Those two, 2018, 2023 with Southern Lab are some ones that still hurt. So,
no, and as we were coming in and setting up, I was just looking around and some of the pictures, especially from the Dome, because me and a buddy of mine, we go to the Dome every year and watch the games. And I was like, yeah, I remember that. And I remember that. And again, just a remarkable career and remarkable number of players that you've coached. You've had players go to the NFL, probably countless that's gone to college by this point. And you've even, I don't know if we were talking about it on camera or off camera, you're even coaching children of children that, and so definitely something to be proud of. We're going to start wrapping it up, but there's a guy that listens to all of the podcasts or all the interviews that we have, and he found out I was coming to interview you, and he had some questions. He's like, please ask. And I was like, well, depends on what you're asking, but if you don't mind, let's.
Yeah.
And I wrote them down so I wouldn't get them wrong, so I wouldn't catch flack from him. The first one is, how can a coach balance making a young man the best athlete he can be while keeping God a priority?
Well, again, strive to keep God first in everything. And we're going to push, it's biblical. The Bible says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. And so that's one thing that we're going to push and emphasize is we're going to, work at it with all of our heart. That's been our theme at different times during the years. We had the theme of passion. And so, again, it's striving to be your best. God gives everybody different gifts, different abilities. There's some people that success definition looks different for different people. For some that have never played sports before, and they go out and they make it through the season and they can complete all of the conditioning, they may not have been up there in the front of the line. They may have been back of the line, but it may be something that they've never done in their entire life. And so, again, just being able to push people to be the best that you can. And again, I think that's something that God wants us from every area of our life.
His next question, it's 2 parts. It says, was there a time when you had to put God ahead of your coaching to influence young athletes?
Again, I make plenty of mistakes, but I try to keep God in first and foremost in whatever we do. And again, there's been plenty of times that I've made mistakes, but I mean, there's not a specific instance that stands out.
Okay. And final question. And I try to ask all of our interviews the same last question. When it's over, what do you want people to take from your testimony?
I'd say the number one thing is that we're not alone. I mean, and that's I've been blessed to be here for 32 years, but it's not me. I mean, I'm oftentimes the face that you may see doing the interviews and stuff like that. but I have not done this alone. I've been surrounded by people constantly. Again, number one, my wife with her daily support, but Coach Harper has been here at the school for over 40 something years. And to have him as the administrator that's been here and having experienced and been in my shoes and having that firsthand understanding, he's a constant support. Tim Mosier's been an O-line coach for me for over 25 years. Randall Bentley's been here for 20 plus years, and Sonny Vadrine and Drew Vadrine, I've known them for 30 years, and they've been connected with OCS football for that long, either as a player, coach, radio person, whatever it may be. And, Robbie DeVitti been coaching with me now for 10 years. He played here. LeBron Wells does our junior high, and Kevin Washington, they've been here for over 15, 20 years. And so, that's the thing is not me here at OCS. I'm just the one that gets to do the interviews and things on TV, but there's so many more. We got great parents and kids, but it all comes back together as far as what testimony. It's that we're not alone. We're not alone in anything we do. And that's, I know we're wrapping up, but that's something that I guess really I've come to grips with more in the last couple of years. A few years ago, my family went through a week of intensive therapy, and we had some questions to answer, this, that, whatever, and I kept drawing pieces of the puzzle and going, the whys, why this, why that, and I realized there's a lot of times in my life that I have put up a wall, just to go, well, don't let anybody know that I'm struggling, hurting, upset, frustrated, whatever, that I got to just deal with it myself and figure it out. And so I've learned a lot in the last couple of years, and have very close connections of people that remind me, hey, you're not alone in this. We're together. What's on your mind? What's happening? And so, that, again, in our life that we're journeying through our faith, whatever struggles, whatever challenges it is, whatever age you are, you're not alone. The young people, they're not alone in their struggles. They don't always want to open up and talk to us that are older. And the same thing, sometimes wherever we are in your 40s, 50s, whatever, we think, well, are we the only ones going through this? Whether it's, in marriage or raising kids or this or that, we're not alone. And so I that's the biggest thing that, I guess God has reminded me of and revealed to me, and hit me in the head a lot of times too, going, hey, have you asked me for help?
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is that we're not alone. God is always there. But you have people that are always there too. Even times people that you may not know real well, there's going to be people there for you if you ask for help, and let them know that, hey, I'm struggling, help me. Because oftentimes we don't want to share that part because we think, well, they're going to think less of me if I tell them what I'm struggling. And it's totally opposite. I think a lot of times you gain more respect for that person who opens up and is real with you. And again, so that's the biggest testimony I say, is that, we're not alone on this journey.
Thank you so much for sitting down, and thank you for inviting us in and allowing us to come. Learned a lot, and which I knew of you, but didn't really know you. Buddy of mine coaches at another high school and been in district with you a few years, and he spoke highly of you. And then Brother Jeff Thomas, I interviewed him. Matter of fact, he was my first interview.
Okay.
And you came up in the story when he was trying to make the decision on staying here or answering the call to preach, and talked about the advice you had given him. And so very, very respected, not only coach, but person. And just thank you for your for your testimony that you're living out.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate your ministry and sharing testimonies, because we do. We all have stories. And again, regardless of what background, where we are, we're all in this together.
Do you mind closing us out in word of prayer?
That'd be great. Father, we thank you for just being our God, for loving us, and for allowing us to be your children. And Father, we thank you for your word that you give to us, that we can stay in and hold on to your promises. And we're so thankful for the fact that, Father, we know that everyone holds true. And Lord, just thank you for the time that we've been able to share today. And Father, just I pray that you'll be with any that are watching, that Father, that maybe something said here can resonate with them, that they'll know that whatever it is that they're facing, that they're not alone. And Father, that again, you can use things that don't appear very good, that you can still use those, that although that may be painful, Father, we just continue to trust you, and thank you for all that you do for us. And Father, most of all, we thank you for giving us your Son, that we will never be good enough. But Father, we thank you that Jesus and his blood is good enough, that once we're covered with that blood, that we can walk with you with confidence and live each and every day for you. And we still stumble and fall short. And Father, we thank you for your grace and mercy that you have on us. And we just pray that you will guide us and give us wisdom in all things. And I pray that you will continue to bless the Dry Bones ministry. And Father, thank you again for all that you do. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir.
You bet. Thank you.